And here with us is Joe Holmes, and he is the, oh boy, I want to say like the communication, public relations director of coordinator of Decatur Utilities. And we have a big connection because we live in his mom's house, mom and dad's house. We bought it from him. Yeah, we bought it. We don't live together. We bought it from your mom and dad, and they're delightful people. And we just love the house a lot. And so, you know, it's really weird how everything crosses paths. I mean, too weird.
It's a small world, Susie.
It really is.
World.
But you've been there for a couple months now at Decatur Utilities and just doing a great job. And there's lots of things going on. And then you want to share information to maybe help you keep your electric bill down.
That's correct.
I mean, DU isn't in the business to put people in the poorhouse. Am I right?
You're right.
You're not the enemy.
That's correct. We're a delivery system. We want to get those services out to our consumers so they can use them and get the benefit of them. But certainly when we get into periods like this week, it's going to be this is the hottest week we've had all summer.
Right.
With temperatures getting up into the hundreds and heat indexes up to 105, 107. So we just want people to be able to, you know, be as energy efficient as possible when they're trying to cool their homes.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, what do you do?
Well, the biggest thing you can do
keep it on?
Well, keep it on, but keep it set as high as you can bear. We recommend at least 78 degrees. Maybe 80.
I wouldn't be here.
Maybe 80, if you can stand it.
But
I
couldn't.
There's some other things you can do. You can set your ceiling fans to turn in a counterclockwise motion. That's going to get an airflow pushing the air back down, so you get that wind chill
I thought
effect.
you did that in the winter.
We just want to you want it blowing on you. You want you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that you feel that wind chill effect.
Yeah,
It's just like in the winter when the wind chill makes you feel cold.
That's the way my fans are.
If you get the air flowing across your body, then that's going to help offset some of that temperature difference.
Okay.
So you can set your unit a little bit higher.
Okay.
The other thing we find is just do a checkup on your insulation levels. If you can see rafters in your attic, then typically you don't have enough insulation. You want at least an R30 to R38 insulation level, and that's about 12 inches.
What's a rafter?
Rafter, your roof.
Your roof?
Okay, your roof rafters, when you go in your attic, you'll see the joists that run across the floor.
Yeah, the wood. Okay.
So if you can see those exposed, and that means your insulation's not up to that level. Those are typically about 8 to 10 inches, and you want at least 10 inches of insulation.
See, mine are covered
12,
because I have flooring up there.
Then you've got insulation under that flooring.
Okay.
But if you just want to make sure you've got enough insulation in that attic area to keep the cooling in. You know, a lot of times people will get up and they'll move boxes and store things, and that insulation will get shifted or it settles over time. Just make sure you've got enough, because that's a big factor in how hard your unit has to work to overcome
because
the
heat's
outside.
coming in through the roof and going into your house.
Well, the heat's building up in that attic. Because
and it's an oven-like.
It's like an oven, and if you don't have enough insulation, then it's just fighting a battle to keep that inside cool. So
it makes sense.
Also, you know, look around your windows. If you have gaps in your windows, you're losing cooling through that. In fact, in the past we've seen that if you added up all the cracks and crevices and places where there's not enough caulking and insulation, it's just the same effect of leaving the door wide open. So you can imagine trying to cool your house with the door open. All
right. So doing all this, okay, can save you. Sometimes I think when it's so hot, it never shuts off. Or does it really shut? It never shuts off?
In some cases, it could run continuously because you're
so
trying
hot.
to bring a 105 degree heat index down to 70 degrees.
So when it's really, really hot, Joe, okay, and people go, oh, I'm going to put the temperature really high or shut off my unit while I go to work. And when you come home, it's like an oven. You can't, that's too much.
Then you're asking, what people will do, they'll come in and they'll run it back down to 68 degrees.
Oh, that's costing you a fortune.
Then your unit's got to work even harder to overcome the difference inside the house. The better thing is, if you're going to be gone just for a few hours, just leave it where it's at. If you're going to be gone on vacation, obviously that's a different story.
Jack it up a little bit.
If you're going to be gone for a day or so, cut it back, but don't let the house get so hot that when you come in, it's trying to overcome a
that you can't even move. Okay, now shutting the blinds and pulling the curtains, does that help?
That helps keep the solar energy from coming through because that will heat up a room. In addition,
And now they have windows that have tint on them.
You have tint. You have argon gas-filled windows, which are very energy efficient.
Oh, I never heard of that.
It's actually a double pane window that's filled with a gas called argon gas.
Oh, my goodness.
And that gives it a little better insulation value. A lot of the older houses in town have just single pane glass windows, and those are, they're not very energy efficient.
Right.
But you can also go back and do a storm window or something to add a barrier there.
And especially a lot of our old homes in the historic areas. Those are really thin glass. I mean, really, really thin glass.
They're thin glass, and of course, they're older homes, so that you have the chance of cracks developing around.
Right.
Where they're not caulked. So it's just a good thing to kind of go through that. They can actually schedule an energy audit with TVA. They'll send someone out and kind of give you a checklist of things you can do to improve your energy efficiency.
Okay.
And then there's financing available to do those things. So
Great
program.
Okay, but another thing is, some of the rooms that you don't use or you're not in and out, put the blinds down or pull the curtains on those rooms, because there's no reason for those rooms to heat up, or you give them a little bit of a break, and that's what I do. I shut the room, I don't shut the door, because I like the flow of everything going, but I put the blinds down.
It's an excellent point. Your unit, when it was put in, it was designed for your house as a whole. And so actually, if you shut off a lot of rooms, then you can actually have a detrimental effect because the unit is unbalanced.
I know people that'll go and shut a room off, and they shut the vent off. Okay, well, I don't know, that's making that room pretty hot, and I don't know. But, I mean, I keep all the doors open, and I move everything around. And then I like the ceiling fans on more upstairs because it moves everything upstairs to go down. Okay. And the ceiling fan's not expensive, is it, to run?
It's not. It's much less expensive to run a ceiling fan than your heating and cooling unit.
Okay. All right. So now, and you have a website. You have a social media campaign.
Yes.
So these tips and everything like you're talking about would be on there.
They are. The tips are on our website. Of course, our DecaturUtilities.com is the central hub of information about everything that's going on at DU.
Okay.
You can find the energy efficiency tips, safety tips, work project updates, traffic closures. So we put everything on the website as kind of a central location. We're also using social media like Facebook and Twitter to send out notifications on a daily basis.
Yeah, especially with the road closings. And I heard there's going to be some construction work because the Beltline's under construction, 6th Avenue is going to be under construction. Sometimes you're on a side street, and if this is a road that you use to pick up your children from school or take them to school, it might delay you. So it's good to know those things.
To give you an example, we had a water main breakout on Harris Mountain Road a couple of days ago. So our crews had to go out and obviously repair that line. But to do that, it actually shut that entire road down. So we notified those customers through a couple of different means so that they would know after 8 o'clock in the morning that road's going to be blocked off. So if you need to make other arrangements.
Yeah, if you have to go to work and that's the way you go. I mean, so you're not late.
And we also notify the city.
Yeah. Okay, we're every day. Well, what this is Joe Holmes, and he is here representing Decatur Utility. He is in charge of getting this information out. And that's your job. I mean, that's part of your public relations, community activity, and all that. But we were talking about social media and you know me, but I am learning more and more, and I'm learning more of the value of it if you use it properly.
Right.
Okay. And DU is using it properly.
We're using it properly. The biggest thing that's changed since I was doing the same type of work at Joe Wheeler 20 years ago is social media. It was really in its infancy back then. But now it's just one of the ways we communicate every day. So DU is using that platform to get information out in a very rapid manner when we have situations that people need to know about. And so Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn are all things that we'll use to post information about outages, work projects, traffic closings, things that are going on around the utility that we feel people need to know about. But it only works if we have people following that platform.
Right, right.
So we are running a contest at the end of October, trying to build that base of Facebook likes and
I want to
Twitter
be your
followers.
friend.
Right.
Okay.
In the business world, you like the DU Facebook page. And so we've actually doubled that in the past month by running this little contest. If you'll go out, and the easiest thing to do is go to our website, and you can follow the links out to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and like us, follow us, do whatever that platform calls for. And in the end of October, we're going to draw for some prizes. So it's just a chance to give something back to the customers.
Okay, but can you be my friend? Or no?
I will always be your friend.
No, you can't be a DU friend.
You like a business page. So
I like it.
You like it.
So I go on Facebook and I go DU, and then I find I like you and I hit it.
There's a little button that says like, and then you go into our base. That way when we post those notifications, they'll show up in your timeline.
Okay.
Same thing with Twitter. We automatically generate tweets whenever we post something on Facebook, so you can constantly be up to date. If there's an outage in your area, and we post the information that we're aware of an outage at this certain location.
Now, what happens, well, when electricity goes out, my computer would go out.
Computer's out, but you still have your smartphone. You can find someone who has a smartphone.
Derek. Okay. Do you have apps? I mean, I know that's important.
We don't have an app yet, but we are moving kind of toward that. But right now, we're posting all that to Facebook. And so if the power went out and you do have a smartphone, then you can go to your Facebook app, and the post will show up there.
Oh, okay. That's great.
And the other thing is email
and text
numbers, cell numbers for texting. We're collecting those as well. Those are all going into the drawing. Because in the future, we're going to be able to isolate areas and send a direct message to a group of customers by email, text, and phone call. Yeah. So they'll be able to keep them up.
There's a road, your sewer is going to be being checked, or we're going to do some electrical work repair on this street. And if you're in that area,
we are working in a specific. If your water's going to be off for a few hours because we're working online, we try to notify everyone in that area, so that they're aware. This is just another tool to do that.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I mean, I've never seen the grid at DU, but I mean that has to be just absolutely awesome. And maybe someday we can come there and you can show us the grid, and you'd all see the grid, and everybody, whatever the name, is of your electric company where you live in the state of Alabama, go to their site and get their tips. They have it, or you can come to Decatur Utilities tips, and it applies to anybody, wherever you live.
That's correct.
Okay, so we've talked about social media campaign. You go there and you just press like, and you're in the contest.
You can get to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter from our website page.
But if I just go like, I'm in the contest.
If you like, you're in the contest.
Okay, we're going to go like. And, United Way. You wanted to talk about United Way.
We are very active in this year's United Way campaign. It's kicking off September 9th.
Okay.
We're actually already out making some calls now.
Sure.
Several of us at Decatur Utilities are loaned executives this year, and Ray Harden, our general manager, is the chairman of this year's fundraising campaign.
And a very good golfer.
So we're out calling on businesses to encourage them to let their employees participate. United Way is that central funding agency for 31 nonprofit agencies, 31. And they're all doing great work throughout Morgan County.
Oh, yeah.
And they touch every age group, Susie. It's from the infants to the elderly, and across all socioeconomic statuses as well. It's everything from the Boys Clubs, the Red Cross, the hospice, to the rescue squad. There's just so many agencies doing just vital work in our community. But United Way serves as a central funding agency. These agencies they try to stay very small, very, very tight, so that they're efficient with their resources.
Sure.
So it's difficult for them to go out and raise all the funds they need. So by participating in a United Way campaign, employees can make a payroll deduction of any amount. That goes into this fund, and then 45 business leaders from the community meet and allocate those funds out to those 31 agencies. So it's just a great way to be able to give back to the community in a very, very easy way. Yeah,
and it's like almost not double dipping. Like if I come to you and say, oh, will you give to this or will you give to that? I've given already to United Way. You know what I mean?
Right. And we provide the information on the agencies that are being supported. You can designate to the agency if you'd like to support a particular agency. You can actually designate where your donation goes.
And the other thing about what United Way does is whenever an agency receives a fund, the agency then is required to show how they spend the money.
Sure, and they also
it's not like here's a check and then you never hear about it. You go and actually watch that the money is used in the way it was deemed.
And let me tell you another way you can go see how it's being used.
I've been on Facebook.
August the 26th to the 29th, United Way is having a Get on the Bus series of tours. These are 3-hour tours. They'll go out and they'll visit 3 or 4 agencies and actually let employees go out and meet people who are behind the scenes, meet the clients.
Oh, that's very nice. So it's called Get on the Bus.
Get on the Bus. You can go to the United Way website and check that out. sign up for a time. You can call
Anybody can?
Anyone can.
And then they can decide whether they want to give to United
right.
Way.
Because once you go out and you see the people who are being impacted and you see the people who are working hard every day, you're motivated to come
Oh my goodness. Now I guess you call United Way to book.
256-353-6644.
And that's going to be August
26th through 29th.
Okay, so call now and reserve your seat.
All right, and there's also the Day of Caring coming up September 9th, and those are work
Right,
projects that are you go out and actually help these agencies.
It's unbelievable what gets done. It's just unbelievable. It's painting, it's gardening, it's cleaning, it's cutting, it's building ramps. I mean, it is just the most amazing thing, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I think
projects that we're going to participate in, and the employees just love getting out and helping give back.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So those are a lot of dates, but again, the DU has their site.
It's on our site.
Okay, it's on your Facebook, it's on your Twitter, it's on your LinkedIn. So all these dates and everything. But I think if you're new into town and you don't know these agencies, here's a wonderful opportunity to take a 3-hour a bus tour of. You get to see Decatur. You get to see Morgan County. You get to see things that may take you weeks to learn about.
It's just a great way to put a face with that agency's name.
Yeah, I love it.
What they're doing.
When I first moved here, I knew nothing about the South. I just what I had been told when I lived in the North. So I went to the archives. And I went to the archives I think it was twice a week or once a week for a bunch of weeks. And I would go down there for an hour and a half and I would read through the newspapers. And I would get those big old volumes out and sit down and I'd read through. So I learned where I was living, some of the history, what went on. It was wonderful. And again, here's a wonderful thing for you all to do and see where the money's going. Okay, now we're getting a signal to take a break. And I think we've covered everything. Is our next guest here? Okay, our next guest is here. Did we forget any? The big appreciation day, and because we have a satellite interview.
October 8th, we'll have a customer appreciation day, and we're celebrating 75 years of being in service here in Decatur. So
oh, my goodness.
Information coming very soon.
Oh, and you're going to reveal the new mascot.
Yes.
Okay, we're not going to tell you about it.
Safety mascot. Yeah.
Okay, safety mascot. But I want you to come back and we'll talk about the big celebration and tell you where it is. But that's October 8th. All right, a lot of dates. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Joe.
Susie. It's always a pleasure.